Is it possible for me to drive my van out of London, through Europe, into Asia, finally reaching and doing van life in Beijing, China? To find out, I've been painstakingly planning, taking into account all kinds of international relationships, as well as visa issues and financial constraints, ending up with a route plotted out that will take me across 15 different countries and completely bankrupt me. And here's why. I've recently been watching Race Across the World on BBC, and I've been amazed by how people navigate their way across different countries. And while it's so good that it almost made me consider paying for a TV licence, it also highlighted an uncomfortable reality about my own life, that I'm wasting my best years, sat in my van in Zone 2 South East London, when I should be out exploring the world. After all, I'm nearly 30, and my hairline has become what can only be described as incredibly cooked. And in a world where it seems every single person other than me is out in Thailand having the time of their life, I've decided that it's finally my time to get out of London and go on a great adventure all the way to China. But first, I'd need a plan, and here it is. To drive to China would mean overcoming some huge hurdles, and the first one would surely be the most difficult, getting out of London. I would need to navigate past a ferocious gauntlet of potholes, e-scooters, and psychotic Amazon delivery drivers. After 4 or 5 hours of careful driving, the 6-mile journey would finally be complete, and I would then make the easy journey across the irrelevant rest of the UK until I finally reached Dover. I refuse to believe in the ridiculous conspiracy theory that there's a tunnel under the sea connecting the UK and France, so I take the ferry over. A couple of hours later and I'm in France, a place basically the same as England, but with one fatal flaw. It's full of French people. France is like beginner's mode for van life, as there's so many free airs to park up in, and I'd stop at lots, taking the back roads, as I wasn't born into generational wealth and, as a result, can't afford to pay the highway tolls. I don't like French food, so I would have stocked up on snacks like croissants and baguettes from Tesco before I made the trip across, which will see me through to the next leg. There's a choice of whether to go south through Italy or north through Germany. I did van life in Italy before, and all of the park-ups doubled up as dogging locations for horny locals, so I opt for German autobahns, racing the van up to incredible speeds of 76 miles per hour. German efficiency is so crazy that every time I fill up diesel it only takes 2 minutes, and every time I order Deliveroo it comes in under 2 hours. As such, I make my way down northern Germany and through southern Germany, also known as Austria and Slovenia, in record time. And before I know it, with 5 countries ticked off and over 1,000 miles underneath my belt, I've made it through Western Europe and have finished the leg. And now it's time to enter new, less charted terrain, the Balkans. With Western Europe fading in my wing mirror, which, as a Mercedes driver, I never use, it's time to rip through the Balkans, starting with Croatia. I drive through beautiful forests and the Mediterranean coastline. There's no worries of me missing the UK here, as the further south I get, the more I'm bombarded with English stag doos. I race towards Dubrovnik, as I heard it features lots of filming locations from one of HBO's best shows. However, when I get there, I'm disappointed to find that it isn't where they filmed my favourite scenes from The Sopranos, and is instead where they made Game of Thrones. Disappointed, I carry on to Montenegro and Albania. This marks me leaving the EU for the first time since I left the UK. So I call my nan, who is thrilled that I left all of that wokeness behind me. People told me that places like Albania, Bosnia and Montenegro would be the sketchiest places of my European trip, but all I find here are some of the most beautiful landscapes and welcoming people that I've ever met on the continent. The only thing missing is easy access to electrical hookups when I park up, which means to make sure my devices are charged, it's time to try out my new equipment. Wherever I take my travels, whether it's Beijing or the big Tesco in Brixton, it's essential I'm able to keep my devices charged. After all, I can't go to sleep at night unless I've clocked up over 6 hours of screen time. So if the van's running low on power, or I decide to leave it for the day, I need a proper source of energy, because I'm way too socially awkward to ask if I can plug in my charger in a coffee shop. Luckily, the boys at Jackery have come in clutch with this, the Jackery Explorer 240 V2. It's a power bank I can use to charge all my devices. It's super simple, with multiple inputs and outputs, so whichever cable I've got can just slot right in. And what's great compared to the previous versions is that it now has USB-C output too, because for some reason, normal USB just gives me the ick. Space is obviously at a premium in the van, but the Jackery Explorer is one of the smallest 300-watt power banks amongst mainstream brands. The handle and buckle fold in, so I can store it basically anywhere. And when I'm out exploring a city or getting lost in nature, it fits easily in my backpack, so I can charge up whenever I need to. Plus it looks great. It's sturdily built and feels like a proper bit of kit. And the orange is ideal for me, since it matches my ceiling and tap. If you're as stupid as me, you'll be pleased to know it's extremely easy to use. There's simple app integration, so you can check everything on there without fiddling around. It charges fast too, with 100-watt two-way fast charging. It even includes emergency flash charging, getting to full in just 1 hour. That means I never have to be anxious about the van running out of power. I know I've always got this to rely on. I've had cheaper batteries in the past, and they've always ended up dying early or just refusing to hold a charge. Jackery clearly thought about this, because it's got smart fast charging that prioritises 80% charge, which boosts battery lifespan by 30%. There's no settings to mess with, no maintenance, you just plug it in and get on with your day. I can't truly be at one with nature unless I've got all of my devices with me, whether it's my phone, laptop, camera, headphones, other laptop, ring light, PS5 controller, or ergonomic mouse. So it really is a relief that all of these things can be charged on the Jackery. Because if I'm in the Scottish Highlands, it's important that I'm able to play computer games and film content. And with this charger, I can get on happily, knowing that I don't need to worry about not being able to do these things, because I'm safe in the knowledge that I can keep them charged. But the best feature, by far, especially for someone like me who tries to live stealthily, is how quiet it is. It's basically silent when charging. You'd have no idea that it's even on. This is green, environmentally friendly energy you can't even hear. And with over 3,000 life cycles, I know I'll be using it for years. So if you're off on an adventure, head into a festival, or just want the peace of mind of having backup power at home, check out the Jackery Explorer 240 V2, along with the rest of their range at their website. By this point, I've made my way through the Balkans and through most of Greece. I've visited pantheons, temples, and managed to avoid being a personality void NPC by not travelling to Mykonos or Santorini to be a battery-farmed hen. But now, it's time to leave chicken gyros, Greek coffee, and indeed, Europe behind. As I stepped into the Asian land of chicken sheesh and Turkish coffee, in Turkey. But first, I of course make sure to use the new politically correct spelling, as I wouldn't want to dead name her. Now you might be wondering why I chose to take this seemingly longer route, and it's because I have an ulterior motive for coming to Turkey. Remember at the start of the video when I mentioned my receding hairline? Well, while I'm here, I'm going to get it fixed. Then I'll probably get my teeth done, tighten my chin up, and finish off with some ab implants, because it turns out the only thing stopping me getting completely life-changing, extreme surgery was my fear of flying. I'd then spend another couple of weeks there, staying in an all-inclusive resort, resting and repairing myself, because I would then be travelling through Georgia. When I first enter, I immediately worry that everyone there is racist, before realising that the flags I can see are not St George's flags, but are instead St George's flags. After a short drive, I arrive at another border for what will surely be the most crazy leg of the entire journey. If I'm to reach China, I must pass through Russia. Before doing so, I have a morality crisis. Is it ethically correct to drive through a country the rest of the world is so against, all in the name of content? I think about the terrible things I've read in the news about what Russia's done to Ukraine, and to be honest, I genuinely think about calling it a day and driving home. But then I remember that you can book a relaxing pool holiday right now from the UK to Israel, while they commit genocide against children. So I shake it off and enter Russia. It's a relatively short drive through one of Russia's most southern areas, full of mountains, lakes, and a disappointing lack of men fighting bears. It's a rather depressing drive, due to there no longer being any McDonald's or Starbucks there because of the sanctions. so I have to make do with local offerings. Before I know it, my time in Russia's over in just a couple of days, as I find myself at the border to Kazakhstan. Like most of the Western world, my only understanding of Kazakhstan comes from the Borat movie. And while I now know this was a tasteless and possibly racist butchering of Kazakhstan's culture, there are admittedly a lot of dusty mountains and herds of goats. However, it's also absolutely beautiful here, and it's no wonder that Kazakh, Uzbeki and Kyrgyz are being stanned by so many travellers. The trip is gorgeous, and I vow to return soon. But for now, things are strictly business, because I've only got one leg of the journey left, and it's the biggest one of all. It's been a trip for the ages, taking me so far through 14 countries, and now leaving me in the end game, China. But even though I'm in the country, I still have over 3,000 kilometers between me and Beijing, so there's no time to dilly-dally. Journeying through the Xinjiang region, I'm overwhelmed by the sheer amount of caves, temples, monasteries, landscapes and wildlife. China's a goldmine for both natural and built beauty, and as I travel further east, the deserts fall behind me and I begin to go through large, sprawling cities. It baffles me how one country can have so many metropolises, all seemingly bigger than London. And as I stop in various places, I begin to miss city van life. By now, I've been in the wilderness for months. But here, as far away as I've ever been, in a Chinese city, I feel oddly at home. I ride into Beijing, a historic yet ultra-modern city, and find myself relieved to once again be looking around for traffic wardens, but disappointed that they're nowhere near as bothered about you, Les. I stop for a second to take in my achievement of arriving here, but then I get back in the van, because London's calling me, and it's going to take me a really long time to get home. Thanks for watching. I'm not sure if it's actually possible for me to take my campervan to China, but if it was, I'd probably do it like that. Let me know in the comments if you've been to any of the countries I went to, or if there was a different route you would have taken. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and click here to see me doing van life in the countryside, and click here to see me doing van life in some of London's most dangerous locations. See you next time!